So Nancy Pelosi is a bitter, scary, overpowered, drunk with power speaker that is also a pathological liar. And she ended up going out on her walkway and talking to people, saying that there was a security risk because of the shutdown to cancel the State of the Union address. And that was a crock because she never even contacted anybody. And what she wants to do is basically blackmail President Trump and say, if you don't open the government, we won't let you speak. And that is just exactly the problem with our government. The Democrats think they control everything, and they don't. The State of the Union addresses, which I never saw in the past, we could probably look them up, they were probably all the biggest lies on the planet because they were kept secret by the fake news, and fake news had the power. And the thing about all of the anchors is that they were paid to lie and to betray America and to control what we were allowed to know. And that's why there's so much attempted censorship and kicking off anybody on social media that brings people the truth. And that they hate me, they hate every YouTube channel that brings stories of the truth. They hate all these alternative newspapers, including this one, including anybody that's a truth teller. And the thing is that they don't have the show and the floor anymore. And Nancy is a bitter, abusive woman, abusing her power and can't handle it. And also, she probably truly fears what President Trump is going to talk about the State of the Union, because it's so much better under Trump, and they can't even, fake the lie anymore because our economy's getting turned around thanks to our president. She's also trying to force anything that she thinks she sees as a Trump card to throw in order to make him open the government, but still not fund a wall. And the thing is that he's just holding firm. There is also a thing going on, which I do believe to be true. Once 30 days go by, they can start to trim the government, and we're getting close to 30 days. But the problem for Nancy Pelosi is this just doesn't involve her. There were people planning this and setting it up for months, and Secret Service and security was willing to work even without pay to set this all up. The problem with her is that she is so spiteful and vindictive, and she figured she was going to act like she's the president with more power than Trump, and she can't stand it that she can't bully him and roll him over like a freight train and get her way. And so she's doing every single thing that she can, but she's unfit and incompetent, and also lying right to the camera. So I don't know how this is going to end up turning out. It would change all day long. It's going to happen. If you're on Twitter, you could see the White House even stating that everything's secure and there's no threat. So it made her look incredibly stupid and weak. And we're going to have to wait and see if it does end up being Trump and she gets pressured into just doing her job and allowing for the State of the Union address. What she stated was that he can do it from his own office as like an insult that he's not invited in the room with everyone else. And that's just unpatriotic, un-American, but it is the truth of the ugliness of the Democratic Party and their plot to continuously lie, fake the State of the Union, and not let anybody bring the truth to light. So we'll have to see how it ends up. Trump is so smart. He will figure out what to do in lieu of how this turns out. And if he ends up going, he's not going to bow down. But what she's also doing is making herself, as the House Speaker, a person that can't speak for the House. And we had Paul Ryan, who was such a wimp and a coward and barely visible. But when you see the power of the ugliness of the position of the House Speaker, you need to understand how badly we need to put this back into Republican control. And if we don't fix voter fraud and all the crimes they're committing and stay on top of this, and the Democrats get the House, which would make her third in line for the presidency, which is a very, very powerful position inside this country. And when abused, you get to see what we're seeing now. You get to see a vindictive, bitter person that still plays in a sandbox and doesn't even have the dignity to make the United States look good to the rest of the world, because on social media, every one of the antics that she's pulling and the lies that she's reporting to people interviewing her are being felt around the world, which makes the United States look weak and stupid. And what we must do, everybody, is put this back into the hands of an adult and someone who puts the country ahead of trafficking and ahead of self-interest and ahead of their own lies. And when you work for government, you work for us. You do not work for yourself. But the problem is the Democrats have hidden all this, and it's finally revealed. And the fact that we can see it and know it is making them look worse and worse. The problem is they don't care. And our only salvation will be to put this back in Republican hands and get a dignified House Speaker in the future. And the fact that she's making this so historically ugly and petty is going to last for centuries. And again, when you're bought and paid for by whoever is in charge of your fate, you can call it Soros, the Democrats, the left, liberal, Hillary Clinton Foundation, whatever. It all means the same thing. But when that demonic position takes control of the common sense and your position so that you can't even represent your own country in a dignified manner, it's very frightening to watch it play out. And this will have a cost on the Democratic Party for people that don't even understand how the history of the State of the Union address has always been done a certain way, and in retaliation for a lie during the shutdown and jealousy of President Trump and the fact that he won't cave to blackmail and bullying and tactics, they are going to try to change the historical State of the Union address on a lie in front of all the cameras in front of the world. And our job will be to fix this in the 2020 election. And the only way we can fix it is to continue to wake up millions more people and not do early voting. Tell everybody to vote on the election day and try to be here instead of be out of the country, and to alert anybody to what they see as voter fraud if they see anybody that's cheating or not supposed to be voting, because they are using even 16 and 17-year-olds because they are so desperate to get the fake numbers that rigged the elections of the past to rig 2020. Thank you.